All right. Good evening and welcome to the live session. We'll go ahead today as scheduled. You have the two things to analyze the trend of 2021 December 16. 2 days ago, whatever the exam happened, paper 1 trends over that we can understand, and also continue the learning part 2, which we have started yesterday. All right. Yes, just a minute. We'll go ahead. Yes. As usual, let me share in the Telegram group, and we all together continue with this live, right? Okay. Yes, we are live now. And meanwhile, those of you have already joined live due to the notification, or you have been waiting and trying, please to type any questions, queries, or what do you expect today or in the coming days sessions, so that your preparation is full and 100 plus is for sure. All right. Yes. All right. So due to some technical glitches, we are late by half an hour. That's the reason I have shared the rescheduled time. Yes, now we are good to go ahead with this live. Before that, let me check whether if there are any questions, queries from you, those who are watching live, and at top priority right away, I can address them, answer them, and then we can go ahead. All right. Yes. Let me see. Any messages? Yes. Amina Begum has been and Hemasagar, right? So along with Mazbin, Hemasagar has become one more regular live learner, and Amina and all those live learners, welcome. Should you have any queries, questions, just type in the chat. I would love to address them live, both for you and for the benefit of others, because most of them are viewing offline, and we also have Vinay Krishna joined back. All right, Sunita, we know, otherwise by the device name you are popularly known as Vinay Krishna, right? Amina Begum, when admit cards will be available for 20th exam? Yeah, Amina, that's a question of a concern and the query relevant to the date. So tomorrow 18th, yes, you can try. Mostly it will come. Otherwise 19th Sunday also it will open. By afternoon or maximum by evening, it will come. As far as 20th admit cards are concerned. All right. Yes, Vinay, go ahead. What is that small doubt? Meanwhile, Farhin Zahar has got a query. Let me address that. You can type in meanwhile. Okay, when I just type in, no problem. Farhin says, good evening, sir. Shall we expect the admit card for 20th December exam, sir? Yes, that's what I just addressed. Hope you got. Most probably tomorrow by afternoon or max by evening. All right. under any circumstances, for any reason you did not get it by tomorrow evening also, don't be tensed. We'll check up. Should there be any issue, they will put it in the website as a notice. Otherwise, Sunday also you can download. But most probably tomorrow it will come. All right. Yes. Okay. Right. Thank you. And Vinay, your question still awaited. Come on, quick. If you have something, just ask it. Depending on the relevance, I right away answer it, or otherwise in the group or later on also I can address. All right. Yes. We got a quite good enough of live learners, and today already we are a bit late for some small technical glitch. All right. So it will happen, but yes, we have to face it and overcome all this and then move ahead, right? Farheen Zahir, right? Okay. Yes. Chalo, that's what I said is for today. As for the topic, two things. One is the question trend analysis, topic wise how they are, because one session on 16th morning paper 1 has happened. The common areas anyway, CDP is common, so we can understand a rough estimate, and I thought I'll give a small analysis on that. Meanwhile, there was the question, social pedagogy question, totally different for what I learned. I attempt half questions in second paper. Okay, Vinay, Krishna, Sunita, we didn't get which social paper are you talking about? It is paper 1 EVS. Paper 2 though anyway it did not happen, afternoon session, right? So just type in further for further clarity. If paper 1 is, yes, it will not be pure like social or science. It's a EVS pedagogy and math pedagogy. So that's how it will be in generic in nature. All right. Which book I purchased, please tell me. Unless your exam is after first, I don't suggest a book. Otherwise, yes. Social studies also, Arihant I have seen. Arihant success series, this kind of, I have maths and science with me. And social studies, you have same Arihant success series, CTET, social studies or social sciences, paper 2. That you can, the simple major reason is you have simple language and followed by the questions are arranged topic wise at the end, previous year's questions. So that saves a lot of time and facilitates you, right? 16th day exam. Okay, 16th day exam, afternoon session anyway, postponed social. So you'll get some time. So if you haven't purchased any book, purchase this, or if you have already one book, then I think just revise. After going through the social, madam also have given quite a good number of questions in our sessions, that also you can go through once again. All right. So I have created that social playlist also. When you visit our YouTube channel, go to that, and a few more are there. I'll put in the same at one place, so that the paper wise, topic wise, area wise also they are available. All right. All right, Hemsagar, could you please explain about the normalization? I love to do that, but not in this live session. Many people tend to get confused rather than clarified. So just to clear the air, number one, if you heard the word, those who have exam in the coming 1 week, don't worry about that. It's no way is going to help you or hamper you. It's not negative marking. Okay, and then what it is, sir? It is there something which is in UGC net JARA for last 20 years they are following. So that's not a new thing. Only a thing that makes some statistical technique in this particular sessions, probably you may have one session, suppose question paper easy, another session question paper a bit difficult, not much difference will be there, but slightly. For that reason, where easy, many people gets 90 plus, where question paper was tough, many people tend to get 90 minus or border 100, 95. Expected people also may get only 90 or fall behind. In order to avoid such exigencies because of question paper difference, difficulty level difference, they will do what is called a normalization. Is a statistical technique. You are no way influenced. By chance, by luck, qualifying people cannot be like that. But those who are prepared and writing and doing your best are in the safe zone. Try your best. Only that much I will tell. In a separate video I will make. Visit the YouTube channel, or if you have subscribed and also press the bell icon, the notification will come. And then after your exam, you see there is no emergency, no tension. Beyond this point, don't worry about that. All right. Okay. Yes. Then if there are no questions right away, good evening, Ritika. We will go ahead. What I said, we'll do the analysis part of it, right? So I have one thing which I also have received from some source, so which I'll share on the screen, and we together view it and go ahead with that for now. Yes. Hope you are able to see my screen and where you have the CDP. Yes. So as for one analysis, this says the child development and pedagogy section were easy as compared to the previous year exam. The CDP section was lengthy. More than 10 questions were asked from the learning theories topic. Child development was scoring subject of this exam because the most questions was easy in both paper. All right. So that's what the one analysis by somebody, and it may vary. Somebody agree with it was easy, somebody may not agree whether it was really easy or not. All right. Yes, Ritika, when will be the today's exam? That is 17th December exam. It will be rescheduled only after Monday. You can expect any announcement coming on that. So until Monday, though, it will not be there, because now first priority for them is run it successfully on Monday and that exam to be happened. So therefore, only after Monday we'll come to know. But one thing what I would like to tell is, don't think that this will be after 13th January. No, not necessarily, right? If there are any days like, see, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, 18, 19, they did not schedule. Such empty days in before 31st are available, or before 13th are available, and that date well in advance, 2 to 3 days minimum, or up to a maximum if possible 1 week, they can declare the dates and conduct the exam. So therefore, so we expect in the next week, someday after Monday, sometime, the CBSE to announce the date. All right. Okay. Fine. Chalo, let's go ahead with this CDP. If not easy difficulty, but what were the questions? NCF National Curriculum Framework, there were about 3 questions asked. So tomorrow I'm going to take up this topic, NCF 2005. And Piaget stages 2 to 3, which we have covered. Intelligence tests, concept and test, which we have covered. Intelligence concept and theories, also we have covered. Kohlberg theory, moral development theory, 2 to 4 questions. This also was covered by our sessions. Growth and development concept, we have started with thoroughly, we have covered. Vygotsky ZPD, yes, one exclusive session on constructivist Vygotsky. So this also we have covered. Achievement test, in general, directly, indirectly, both a combination of pedagogy, and here it was covered. Assessment and evaluation, even I myself also have took one session on assessment and evaluation, covering both CDP and as well as your pedagogy of science, maths. All right. Otherwise, English madam, science madam, social madam, everybody has covered this assessment and evaluation. Gardner's theory, when I was discussing about intelligence, we have discussed multiple intelligence theory by Gardner. And inclusive education, thoroughly we have had 3 sessions, 1 to 2 questions. Behaviorism, classical conditioning and operant conditioning, 1 to 2 questions. Then the motivation, 2 questions, which we also have one exclusive session. Portfolio, that probably some of the pedagogy they might have covered, not directly from us. Then new education policy, one question. Hereditary environment, yes, exclusively there was a one session. So like this portfolio, new policy education directly comes. That's it. That's the reason. Educational awareness, educational aptitude, like teaching aptitude, a little broader one, is what is expected from the teachers. So that comes. That simply you just can't say no, it's not from the syllabus or it is out of syllabus. We can't say. Competitive exams will have that broader perception. So one has to, but if you look at that question, I'm sure though there was not a special session from from the book you have read, still you will be able to answer it. All right. Okay, so as for one analysis, overall the learning had got more than 10 questions. That's what it says. It's in the broader, like all these are a part of learning. Kohlberg theory, growth, the Vygotsky theory, all right, and from that perspective. So definitely if it is CTET or tomorrow state TETs or KVS, Navodaya, Army Public Schools, etc., learning is an important topic as far as CDP is concerned. So that's the reason I felt like we'll continue the learning. Yesterday, what we have started, consider that part 1, and today we are going to cover part 2. All right. Before I go with that, should you have any more questions, queries, just ask me quickly in the chat. I can take up 1 or 2 questions before I start learning. All right. At leisure every day, those who have exams a little later, whose exams are postponed, 16th afternoon session and 17th, do join us. And we will be discussing this kind of leftover topics or relevant topics, important topics, are the topics which are useful not only for CTET, but also for the forthcoming teacher recruitment exam, TRT, Gurukulas, Navodaya, KVS, or the state TETs, and so on and so forth. All right. Yes, good evening, Renuka. Chalo. Okay. Now coming to the learning, as you have seen, the classical conditioning, operant conditioning, right? Though state TETs very popular to more frequent questions, but this time CTET people also have focused on that. But here the questions basically are on the nature of understanding, not just cognitive or the knowledge based understanding, application kind of things, right? Okay. Renuka requests, sir, please explain the second paper deeply. All right. So as far as CDP, English, Telugu, and these common areas are concerned, paper 1, paper 2, not really much difference. On the whole, in paper 2, you will have more application type, evaluation type, a bit lengthy descriptive questions. But otherwise, some of the paper 1 questions can be more tough when you compare to paper 2 questions, and some of the paper 2 questions obviously will be tougher when you compare with the paper 1. All right. So therefore, it's not exactly the depth, rather the width. The wider you develop an understanding, a reading, topics covered, the better opportunity, chances you have to answer it, right? So anyway, from my sessions, together I'm covering, and if you develop this basic concept and the way of thinking to answer the questions, definitely it will help you in answering both paper 1 and paper 2. All right. So with that brief introduction, Samarnas has come back. Welcome back, Samarnas. And see, for example, when you go to learning, the basic theory, first, trial and error by Thorndike. Who has proposed the theory of trial and error? These kind of questions are popular in your state TET exams, but not the CTET. CTET, as from the beginning, I have been emphasizing, and you could see the trend from the previous last 10 years, is most on the comprehension, analysis, evaluative type of questions than basic knowledge questions. So therefore, which of the following is a law of learning according to Thorndike's principles of learning? Direct knowledge-based question. But on the same, if they wanted to frame an evaluation or analysis, an in-depth question, a Telugu teacher did sing a song before he began explanation of the story. Which of the following principles did he follow? He may mention according to Thorndike learning theory or simply according to the principles of teaching learning. Sometimes indirectly they don't give the name of the theory or theorist, and they will ask this applied questions too. Okay, law of readiness, law of practice, law of effect, none of the above. So what is this law of readiness? Through that he is motivating, he is ensuring the readiness. So that's what the fundamental difference between your paper 1 and paper 2 questions. All right. So basic process of teaching and learning, this is where most of the questions from learning are being asked when you look at the previous year's questions. All right. Before I move there, let me give you a basic outline of the important theories of learning so that whatever the question is, out of this basic understanding and knowledge, you will be in a good position to answer the same. All right. Should we go ahead with that? Yes. Now coming to the learning, not by theory knowledge base they are going, but a broader perspective you need to develop as far as learning is concerned is the approaches to learning, or the perspective or group of theories to learning. Broadly, you have one theory for a long period which was very popular is your behavioristic theory. Thorndike's trial and error learning theory, classical conditioning theory by Pavlov, operant conditioning theory by Skinner mainly belongs to this category. All right. And a fundamental difference between classical conditioning by Pavlov and operant conditioning by Skinner is Pavlov's classical conditioning assumes that out of stimulus response SR bonding, it is stimulus oriented. This is a knowledge based concept, but CTET is not much popular for this kind of questions. But what it will, a teacher when teaching was emphasizing much on the attractiveness of the teaching aid than the way the learners perceive that. Now, his belief with regard to the approaches to learning belongs to the following group of learning or learning perspective: behavioristic, cognitive, social learning, constructivist learning. Now, where does it go? He was much focusing on attractiveness of the teaching aid, which is stimulus. So that way, indirectly, one has to understand and choose that it is a behavioristic perspective. And which of the following theories emphasized among behavioristic theories or among the behavioristic perspective of learning? Learner is an active responder. Classical conditioning, operant conditioning, trial and error theory, none of the above. Then in that case, it comes the operant conditioning. Because the Skinner says first response and it will be reinforced based on the reinforcement. Repetition of the response depends. If you recollect that experiment by Skinner, the pigeon has to prick first, then the food palette will come. All right. So therefore, within the behavioristic approach, the perspective which assumes the learner is active learner, active participant, has innate ability and interest and makes trial to learn, is your operant conditioning. But if the question does not limit you within the behavioristic perspective, this is mainly of your constructivist perspective. That's the slightest difference. Within the behavioristic perspective, then you go for operant conditioning, between operant conditioning, classical, and trial and error. If question did not specify like that, which of the following assumes the learner as an active respondent, active participant in the process of teaching learning? And option straight away given: behavioristic perspective, cognitive perspective, observation or social perspective, and constructivist perspective of learning. Then it goes to in favor of the constructivist. Now, after for a long period, behavioristic perspectives as given by the principles of learning by Thorndike and the classical conditioning, operant conditioning, then the cognitive perspective has came into picture, where Piaget and others are the prominent personalities who said the human learning can be distinguished thoroughly from that of the animal learning, wherein the animal learning is limited to that stimulus response bond establishment kind of learning. But human learning involves thinking. The process of thinking, cognition plays an important role. Their language, communication, creativity, problem solving ability. Gestalt theory also on these lines: meaningful learning, problem solving, long lasting. The only fundamental difference between Gestalt and Piagetian cognitive is Piaget's cognitive development theory believes in the stage-wise development of your cognitive abilities. On the other hand, the insightful learning theory, of course, accepts that, but rather says a sudden flash of idea. That's what the insight, Gestalt. Sudden flash of thought leads for the problem solving or learning as such. Wherein Thorndike's system known as trial and error, trial-based, trial-less learning. Here, trials are not important. That flash of idea coming is important as far as insightful theory of learning is concerned. Then observation learning by Bandura definitely important when we talk about those aspects children learn of culture, values, traditions, practices, understanding the system of law, rules, regulations, social orders, social norms, which mainly focuses on one concept called role models. According to observation learning of Bandura, there must be good role models for the child to learn, where he observes them, imitates them, gets the feedback, and then continues improving on that. Now, on the other hand, the latest or the modern theory of learning, the constructivist, does not limit only to role model. Anywhere child can get a point, observe a thing, pick up a point, combine those, and then construct the knowledge. Therefore, socio-cultural experiences, the family, the neighborhood, interaction with others, interaction with adults, interaction with friends, peer group, electronic gadgets, all these plays an important role as far as the child's learning is concerned. So therefore, it has given importance to the socio-cultural experiences. That's the reason the constructivist learning approach by Vygotsky is also known as social constructivist theory, according to whom the process of these socio-cultural experiences being transformed as learning experience is the learning. Learning is nothing but transformation of socio-cultural experiences which are there in his day-to-day living in an unorganized manner, not a systematic manner, will be organized, systemized, constructed into the learning experiences. All right, this includes your motivation, this includes your meaningful learning, this includes your problem solving, this includes your observation, this includes your role model. That's the reason this was given a lot of priority. And now your national curriculum framework and other RT and other based recent educational approaches or the practices mainly draws heavily on constructivist approach. So indirectly, if there is a question, which of the following approach of observation is given due consideration by NCF 2005, National Curriculum Framework 2005, or after it educational practices? Behavioristic, cognitive, constructivist, social, or observation learning. Then obviously it goes to constructivist approach to learning. All right. So apart from this, let me check what other are some of the important concepts from which, as far as learning is concerned, questions are being asked. Okay. Fine. Then coming to this, even teaching is also a part of it. Right? So what is teaching? Matured person giving to immature, these knowledge-based, philosophical-based? No. This kind of questions are not the priority of the CTET trend of the questions, but rather they can ask which of the following a teacher can do: giving information to the children, preparing them for examinations, ensuring they get good scores in the final exams, facilitate their learning. And then obviously you all will go with option number, yes, option number 4. The facilitating includes all this and the best of the thing that a teacher can do, expected to do. Now, if you go by practical experiences, sir, how do you think not many teachers are facilitating? They are preparing for exam, they are giving the notes, they are completing the syllabus. Of course, it's true. But in facilitating, all these are the subparts. That is expected. The modern role from the Guru Brahma position to the friend philosopher guide to now the facilitator, which is not less to any of those previous two. Previous two, at least, to tell is teacher's responsibility. To listen or not, to follow or not, to learn or not, was left for the learner. But now it is for the teacher to understand, does the child listen, get it, understand it, apply it, follow it? If not, what are the reasons? So what can I do as a teacher in order to ensure that the minimum standards the child reaches? All right. Yes, that's the fundamental difference you need to understand. All right. Otherwise, the micro teaching lesson plan, and these are also sometimes questions are asked anyway in your pedagogy, they are covered. Otherwise, in the micro teaching, basically what you need to remember is, as given by the Allen and Dwight, it is a miniature or micro-sized teaching practice which is aimed at improving the teaching skills of the teachers, part of normally teacher education courses or the teacher training programs, helps for self-reflection, helps for self-improvement, also includes the feedback. And it covers all the three aspects of your planning, presentation, reflecting, or getting feedback. That's the reason the major steps in your micro-teaching cycle is the planning stage, presentation stage, feedback stage. Based on this feedback, and again you replan, represent, re-evaluate, or re-feedback. And thus the cycle goes off. All right. Okay. And okay, contextually, let me also mention what this portfolio is. If for some of you is a new word, let me tell you. As a part of teaching learning, evaluation is an integral part of teaching learning. Now, earlier evaluation means only conducting exams and awarding marks and preparing results. From there, the broader concept of CCE, continuous comprehensive evaluation, which includes the child work, child participation, discipline, and so on and so forth, are also an integral part of teaching, learning, and also the process of evaluation. Now, in that case, how child participating? How do you know? There is no exam, written exam or interview for that, right? So therefore, you can take some photographs. You can take some small video clips. You can take if child made some poem or a write-up on that particular aspect. Now, a collection of all these, when you maintain over a period of time, that's nothing but the portfolio. Portfolio-based assessment, portfolio assessment, the portfolio. Earlier, you might have heard about this cumulative record, which contains not only just your marks and attendance, but also the strengths, the progress, achievements, challenges in the learning child faced, all comprehensive data. The home background, social experiences, and so on and so forth. Now, earlier good old days, you have been maintaining a record and writing all this. Now, this is the era of where you'll have your audio video files, collect evidence for all this, and put it. If you put it in a soft copy form in a folder, all these things are kept eportfolio. Or if you put it in a physical manual folder like this, okay, like this in a folder, if you keep, and then that's a physical portfolio, right? So when it is used for assessing the child and continue as part of continuous comprehensive evaluation, we call that as a portfolio evaluation, right? And the relevant topic is the brainstorming. You might have heard. Most commonly used method to facilitate or improve or develop creativity. Instead of convergent, routine, regular, daily, well-known type of thinking, you give an opportunity for the learner to think divergently, differently, new way, innovative way. All right. Otherwise, normal question is, suppose when you come to school and your water bottle cap is not being opened, what to do? Fixed answer is use more force and open it. Now, if the same activity or the question is to be given for brainstorming is, in how many different ways one can open the cap of a bottle which is not simply coming. Now, one of your child enthusiasts probably will say, turn it upside and down and cut it here, and you are open. In a typical traditional classroom says, stupid thought. But here, no, that's the beauty of your brainstorming. Teacher encourages all divergent thoughts, but later on to sum up, yes, says, see that it's going to be the end of the bottle. Now it is between having some water and saving your life and this, obviously this is the best option. So therefore, such of the things in summarization later, it can be informed to the learners where certain precautions cares to be taken. But any idea appears to be silly, clever, relevant, irrelevant, whatever it is, a free flow thought of ideas will be invited, especially the novel, the new, the divergent, totally different to that of the normally well known will be more encouraged. All right. Yes. Okay. So with this, I'll just conclude here. Should you have any more questions at this stage, just ask me. Otherwise, I will bring some more questions asked in the recent examinations of your 2019, 20, 21, 18 to 21 recent 21 January paper is also available with us. I'll come up with some of those questions on learning, whether it's important, it's worth of. Tomorrow we'll have part 3 also of learning. And today with this, I'd like to conclude this today's session. And before we close, should you have any questions from your end to ask? Just you can ask. Otherwise, okay, you can continue asking in our WhatsApp group or Telegram group, or below this particular video in the comment section also you can ask, and I will be clarifying as and when depending on its requirement. All right. Okay, with this, let's call it a day, and tomorrow we will have NCF 2005 and also few MCQs or PYQs on your learning topic. All right. Okay, then I don't see any questions in, from the YouTube live. So let me see whether there are any questions from your WhatsApp group, something relevant which needs an urgent live clarification. And I wish I will take up that. Otherwise, we'll be concluding. All right. Yeah, this is a ongoing concern. Asghar Khan also asked today, till now didn't appear the hall ticket admit card for 20th exam date. I understand, yes, it is a concern, genuine concern, but the point is they said 2 days before. So for 20th, understandably, tomorrow, 18th, you can expect. All right. Okay. Right now, don't worry if tomorrow also it did not come, what to do. It will come. By evening also it doesn't come, it do come. In case it didn't come, let us try to do something on that. Okay, should there be any updates, of course, anyway, I will be sharing. All right. So thank you all. We are approaching almost 500 subscriptions, 480 plus at where we are at the moment. And 500 is one milestone in YouTube's count, which gives us quiz. So shortly, in a couple of days, we are going to complete 500 and start quiz. Daily one question we will have. You can live participate, or whenever you are free, just click your answer and check your answer with the other participants' responses. All right. So encourage all your friends to join one of our WhatsApp or Telegram group, and also subscribe to this channel and view the videos as far as possible live, or otherwise at least as of their convenience. All right. And not only this, ongoing, I'm going to provide you how to become the inspiring teachers. Government teacher, private teacher, you may become one day, 1 month, or someday of your choice. But inspiring teacher is a ongoing live process. That's what we target, inspiring teachers. We get inspiration and we inspire our learner. Ongoing, we develop. All right. Okay, with these words, I conclude the session, and thank you for joining live. See you back tomorrow at 7 p.m. in a live session.